I Kanye is brilliant, and any notion that this man is like mentally unstable and all that, I don't buy it. I think he's just very honest. He's one of the few people who has that level of freedom, and like you said, he's uncompromising. One of the things that stood out to me before I forget, and I know I didn't write this in my notes, is his affinity to Dame Dash. I love that. I
You want to
love
start right
that.
there? You want to start off with Dane? Can we start off with Dane?
I was gonna ask you what you thought of it overall, but yeah, we can start off with Dame and we can kind of backtrack from there. Let's start off with Dame. What are your thoughts on that?
Dame is becoming one of those guys who really wasn't that beloved when he was active in his prime as a boss and as a CEO in the forefront as a mogul in the hip hop business. He was not beloved. But what the next generation has realized was that actually Dame was just ahead of the curve, and that's why a lot of what he was doing was coming off like he was an asshole. It's like Ye was saying. It's like, no, Dame just had a vision for how things were going to be and how they should be in terms of ownership and diversity for black entrepreneurs and CEOs. And so Dame is one of those guys who's like a legend. And like, like if this was a stock ticker, you know what I'm saying? Like Dame's stock would be like on some Tesla shit right now. Mike, it'd be like, oh, it was 650 about middle point this year. It's double that now.
You know, I think what
I
Dame suffers from
um,
is the fact that he can't rap. He doesn't have fans. And I think a lot of people pick sides based on fandom. When you've
yeah,
listened to Jay and you've become a fan of his, subconsciously you're gonna take his side on anything. You know what I mean? And he has the voice too, and the fact that Jay can come out with an album, he come out with a verse and tell his side like uncut, whatever, whatever, coded lyrically and all that. Dame has never been allotted that opportunity, and he's never been allotted the opportunity to have fans vote for him. So a lot of his side doesn't really get told, and fortunately for him, he stayed true to a man named Kanye West, who has broken through a lot of things, and like you said, is very uncompromising,
yeah.
and they are very similar in personalities, and Kanye West is going to have his back, and now Dame has a voice.
Yeah, because one thing that I did really notice, and so let's give the overall take, and I like where you started. One
Yeah.
of my big takeaways was that okay, so having mental health issues is very similar to like being addicted to alcohol or a controlled substance to a degree that once you are that way, you're kind of always that way. And what I saw was somebody who, if they do have any mental health issues, well, he's also 44 years old and he's learned how to handle them very well because he came off masterful in this interview. And really, he didn't come off as somebody with mental health issues. He came off as somebody who, quite frankly, Mike, is a genius at a lot of things. And sometimes geniuses have, like, mental health issues or lapses in moments. Like, it does go hand in hand. And this was a moment where we got to see the genius side.
His genius moments were what we were just speaking about offline, is the fact that Kanye West is a head. Like, he's a hip hop head. He knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he's made great hip hop in his own right. But to hear him talk about, be asked about certain artists that we've never actually um, have heard him publicly articulate, his fandom for. Like the Scarface Ice Cube thing really stood out for me too, and how he was able to break down Scarface's delivery at a certain point in Scarface's career, and excuse me, and how Ice Cube delivers his rhymes. And I think it was incredibly honest when he said he's more influenced by Scarface, but he might listen to Ice Cube's music more. And it's interesting because I think he's a good mix, a good healthy mix of both of those guys.
Mike,
Introspectively, Scarface, and the I don't give a fuck of Ice Cube.
so Mike, can I say something? And I'm not being funny. And you and I talked about this behind the scenes. a lot of his takes and my takes were very, very similar. I mean, and you know that better than anybody. And when he
Yeah.
said the Scarface Ice Cube thing, I was like, damn, I was like, that's exactly how I feel because I know exactly what he's talking about to a degree, and this is why.
Yeah. I mean, and to
No,
piggyback on that, Nas is the GOAT to him.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, no. I want to touch on the Scarface, yeah, because we're gonna break it all down. But the Scarface Ice Cube thing, Mike, I was literally thinking to myself last night that I don't listen to Scarface like the way that I used to because mentally and life wise, I'm not in that place.
Right.
And going back and listening to some of that face stuff reminds me of certain things and puts me in that place. That's the type of influence and hold the music has on you. I'm more likely to put on Ice Cube shit because it's easier for me to just ride to and get into and not take me to a place. Face know how to take you to a place. So when he said that, it struck me because I was literally thinking to myself, it's like, man, when is the last time I played one of Face's albums from beginning to end? Because it had been a minute, Mike.
Right. No, you got to go through it. I was playing, mom playing tricks on me. Obviously, Halloween just passed, and my fiance was like, "That's a crazy song." I was like, "Yeah," he was going through it, and that's just a single. You know what I'm saying?
And it's deeper than darker on his part. It's deeper and darker than my mom playing tricks on me, like on the yeah.
DeCarlo says, "What y'all think about him saying Bone Crusher when Atlanta started taking over?" We're gonna get to that. I agree with him wholeheartedly.
We got that down. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
talk
we
about
got that down. But I'm gonna let you know I agree. And I was there. I got the damn.
yeah.
I got the blank CD with the writing on it from Bone Crusher himself, like months and months before the song even surfaced. So yeah, I we'll get to that. That's a
Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get to that.
yeah, we'll
So
get to that. But
okay.
you were talking about Scarface and Ice Cube and your
Yeah,
take on
no,
yeah.
he hit the nail on the head. It's like Scarface's influence is heavier on the craft of emceeing and his ability to kind of command you and take a hold of you. But you probably more likely to ride the Ice Cube shit like you are. And so that's those moments of like, yo, this dude knows his shit. Like he's on some rap shit still. Like
Yeah.
forever for him being big as he is, like he still know his rap stuff in and
Of
out.
course.
Because
Of
I was
course.
listening to him talk to N.O.R.E. and I felt like it was like you and me talking, except for you're a better orator than N.O.R.E. in my opinion.
I don't like I'm just gonna go ahead and say this here, man. I don't like the fact that N.O.R.E. be acting crazy, like he don't know anything. Like you're gonna sit here and tell us that you didn't know that Kanye West produced the takeover. Everybody knows that.
And
You
it's
are
just
you're an MC from New York City, from Queens, who was signed to Def Jam in the 2000s, and you're gonna sit here and tell us that you didn't know Kanye West made Takeover?
Mike, he's been around Fab,
Come on,
50,
man. Don't do that. I don't like that.
Mob D, early, Mike. I'm talking early.
And I say that respectfully, N.O.R.E. You know what I'm saying? Drink
Before
Champs is an
Soul
awesome Drink
Mike,
Champs is an awesome concept, but that whole I didn't know this and that, it's annoying. It really
Mike,
is.
Mike, N.O.R.E. was around so much rap history before he even dropped his solo album that it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
He
man.
knows.
I guess he never heard, the bounce on the Blueprint too, where Kanye was like, "You did take over. Do you got beef with Nas? Or did take over the game? Brought back the soul." You know, it was even a thing when Nas was on We Major. It's like, oh, he produced Takeover, him and Nas doing the record together.